Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Wayne's World of Science and Technology. Today, we're going to look at a problem. I love problems. I love especially beating them up. You ever hear of globalfirepower.com? It's a site that quite a few people seem to think is legitimate, and they reference it regularly. The only problem is it's about as reliable as the bowel movements of a 2-month-old puppy. And yes, I've had a 2-month-old puppy. I know what their bowel movements are like. Let's take a look at it and I'll explain why this is such a problem, why you should totally ignore it, and why, if you see anybody referencing it, you should call them on the fact that they're referencing it, because they obviously don't have a freaking clue. If they did, they wouldn't be referencing it. Okay, let's roll down here. It says, ranking the nations of the world based on current available firepower. Over 60 individual factors, note it doesn't say what factors, to determine a nation's power index. It also says that, sorry, now I can't find exactly where it was. Right, it's down here. The smaller the power wind's value, the more powerful a nation's conventional fighting capability is. So they are ignoring nuclear weapons, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with ignoring nuclear weapons from that point of view. I'm just mentioning it because it's something that people are going to bring up at some point and say, oh, you didn't count them in. Well, global firepower doesn't. And again, they are only trying to, or at least they say they're only trying to rate conventional fighting capabilities. Okay? Now, so they have the United States rated at the lowest, and it says lowest is better. And then they go up to Russia in second place with China tied. Now, if you look at this, what global firepower is implying is that everybody from Russia, which is number 2, all the way down to, where are they? Ukraine, which is number 20, has the same combat power. Look, if Russia was really number 2, they would have stomped Ukraine within 3 to 4 months. That's if they're really number 2 and Ukraine was number 20. Because they didn't, that's a fairly solid indication that there's something wrong with this ranking. Not necessarily exactly what it is, because I don't know. I'm just showing you that there is a problem. Okay, let's go back up here again. And look, you've got China, you've got India. Now, you've got South Korea in there, you've got United Kingdom, you've got France, you've got Japan, you've got Turkey, you have, and I'm probably mispronouncing that, Italy, Brazil, Pakistan, Indonesia, Germany, Israel, Iran, Spain, Australia, Egypt, Ukraine, Poland, Taiwan, Vietnam. We go all the way down here and they put Canada in 28th. Now, that kind of puzzles me. The Canadian military regularly deploys worldwide. Most of the countries above it are incapable of deploying worldwide yearly. Now, our military has problems. I'm not going to say we don't. It's one of the things that the current government is supposed to be working on is an overhaul of the military. But we deploy worldwide. Does Algeria? Does Thailand? Does Saudi Arabia? Vietnam? No, they don't. Poland doesn't either. This is a very skewed index in my opinion, because it's showing some really weird stuff. It doesn't make sense. Okay? It doesn't make sense at all. Now, okay, sorry, this page doesn't do anything, it's just a country thing. And compare nations, right, if you want to do direct national comparisons. It's coalitions, it's got all this stuff you can do. And it also shows historic, which is useful. You notice that they show Russia number 2 consistently from 2020. And we scroll down here, and where is poor Ukraine? There's an 18 in there. Where is Ukraine? Okay. In 2014, Ukraine probably, well, they were way down the list, I guess. Oh, they're there, 21. The point being that, again, when you look at these numbers and you look at the current conflicts that are being fought, like the one between India and Pakistan, or the one between Thailand and Cambodia, or the one between Russia and Ukraine, the numbers don't make sense. There's something very wrong with this. And now we get the disclaimer where they basically says, hey, none of it's our fault if we screwed up. That, quite frankly, is normal, so I'm not going to fault them for that. But we have a real problem here. This thing claims it knows what it's doing. It very obviously does not, based on combat, actual proven combat capability, as compared to theoretical capability. The problem is, they do not show their work product. And you're going to say, but that's probably confidential. Well, it may be that they consider it confidential. Too freaking bad. If you don't show your work product, I have no way to audit what you have done. I can't trust what you've done if you don't show me your work product. I have zero trust when I can't see how you came up with these numbers. I mean, really, how did they come up with these numbers? And I know in some cases you're going to say, oh, well, they show so many tanks and so many. Right. How do you rate a tank for firepower? Australia just retired all their M1A1s because they didn't think they were survivable on a modern battlefield, and they upgraded to an M1A2. Think about that. Australia obviously thinks the M1A1s are not really all that good, or they wouldn't have moved them on. What's the difference between a M1A1 and a T90M? Well, we don't know how they rate it. We have no way to know how they rate the difference between an Su-35 and an F-15. No way at all. We don't know how they rate the individual weapon systems involved. Some weapon systems are, well, how should I put it, rather strange, like the Meteor air-to-air missile, which is a absolutely deadly looking beast that I would not want to get in front of. And I fly DCS a bit, and I've had a Meteor shot at me, and quite frankly, it is a terrifying experience when you've got one of them coming after you. Far more terrifying than the Standard missiles, which run out of juice fairly quickly and have to coast. The Meteor keeps coming. We don't know how they're rating any of this. I mean, they could be rating Russia based on the fact that Russia has an aircraft carrier. That may be why Russia's combat power is so high. But the aircraft carrier hasn't left the dock in something like 10 years. They could be rating it on China having 3 aircraft carriers, but China really only has one. When I say they only have one, the one aircraft carrier is a training carrier, and it's good for that, but I wouldn't want to put it in a combat situation. It's not really designed for that. The second one is a combat carrier. The third one is not quite ready for full deployment yet. They're still testing the catapult systems, according to my understanding. So, how do they rate China in on that? Are they considering 3 carriers? Who knows? They don't tell us. India has a carrier. Okay, so does South Korea, kind of. The United Kingdom has too. Why doesn't the United Kingdom have a higher power rating than India? Well, from the carrier point of view, it should, but yeah, I know there's a lot of other factors involved. The point is, we don't know what any of the factors that they are working on here are. I mean, if you click on the United States, it will give you a breakdown at a glance, a whole bunch of things, but it doesn't give you enough detail to be able to understand how they're actually rating, let's say, land forces. Tanks, 4460, readiness. Okay, great. So they got the third number of tanks at 145. how high are they rating them? Are they rating these tanks good, bad, indifferent? I mean, seriously, think back. The first Gulf War, Saddam Hussein's tanks got slaughtered. As far as it was concerned on paper, he had a huge force, but they weren't modern, and you know, it's how would you rate those? We're looking at the same thing here. The tanks that are in stock are one thing. The tanks that they've got in readiness, they may or may not be upgraded, and so they may not actually be immediately usable. Okay, we don't know, and we don't know how they are rating anything. And that makes it so impossible to determine exactly where we're going on here. Okay, here's notes, financials. You know, they do give the information of where they got. They do give you information on where they got some of their data, but it's really not all that useful. Not without knowing how they rated the stuff and why they rated it. Anyway, as you can tell, I'm really annoyed at this place. I did the same thing to Ground News a while back. You may have noticed that the Ground News ads changed about 3-4 months ago. All of a sudden they stopped making that statement about helping determine accuracy. Yeah. I wrote a Substack on it, sent them a copy, and after that they basically changed their ads. I don't know if they did it because of me. I'm kind of guessing that they might have. Global Firepowers, hey, I'd happily send them a copy of this. But guess what? They don't bother including contact information anywhere on their website. So you can't complain. I don't know. They may actually have a social media account somewhere. I mean, there's so many social media sites. Who knows? I will post this everywhere I can so that as many people as possible can see it. And I really would like it if you would share this. And also like it. Give me your comments, all that guff. And anyway, that's it for today. I'm actually setting this to go live in the early morning hours because I found out a while ago that YouTube doesn't like more than 3 videos in a day. If you send out more than 3 videos in a day, it stops recommending them. Maybe it thinks we're being too talkative. Who knows? Anyways, night, folks. Bye-bye.